That's what leadership wisdom is really all about. How do you put those lessons to work for you as you go forward as a leader? The result of reflecting on life experiences to uncover insights about who you are as a leader. It's interesting that reflection is not a leadership competency. Because as we work with leaders around the globe, we find the one thing that leaders are not very good at is reflecting. So throughout this course, we're going to give you time to reflect. We're going to offer you time to journal, and we're going to offer you time to dialogue. And we encourage you to take that time, because that is the foundation for leadership wisdom. And that is also the bridge to our next major fundamental that's important to leadership, and that is learning agility. Now, when you think about learning agility, what does that say to you? What is learning agility?
Able to learn in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, able to learn a lot of different ways, sure. You know, learn technically, reading, interacting, reflecting. Yeah, other thoughts?
Ease in learning.
I really like the ease in learning, because what are my mental models? And is my mental framework open enough to accept all these different ways of learning? So we took this question and we broke it down again into 4 characteristics. And the 4 characteristics are, what kind of learning are we seeking? Okay? And then how do we make sense of it? And then how do we internalize it? And how do we apply it? So it's a full 360 of learning and application. And when we talk about seeking, the interesting thing is, what do we want? And so when we talk about learning agility and we think about seeking as a characteristic of agility, what do we want to know? What do we want to experience? What is our willingness to immerse ourselves in new and challenging situations that broaden and expand our experience? So a lot of times, as we know, sitting in the chairs that we have, we accept a lot from our organizations. Our organization says, please go do these things. Well, that's great. It's not what we're talking about. It's, what do you seek? Remember the leadership brand we talked about in those 3 words? Well, what do you seek to expand your leadership brand? So it's a very proactive perspective towards learning. Now, once we've sought that and we're getting that information, now how do we make sense out of it? How do we actively process curious and experimentation in order to gain insight and perspective? So how do we make sense out of what we are seeing? What are our mental models about it? What does our culture say about it? And are we being critical enough to understand how we're seeing that information?